Today we are going to create this scene in the simplest way possible. This is a complete walkthrough from finding our characters on Freepik all the way to animating them inside After Effects. So in this video you will find why we need to modify characters even when they are available on Freepik, how to pre-plan your rigs to save 50% of your time, what do you need to add that final impact in the animation, and more. So if you're looking to boost your portfolio, character animation is extremely important.
Of them well. What happens is you give a little bit of effort here and a little bit of effort here.
Environment of fear, and we're talking about bringing emotion to it.
So adding characters in your video, even if it's a reel, make it more engaging. So follow along, and by the end of this video, you will be able to animate your first character in the simplest way possible. Okay, so I'm currently working on a script that includes a line that says, I just end up feeling like I'm nagging my agents to make more videos, like a parent telling kids to eat their vegetables. So this script is basically a part of another main video where I have introduced characters to visually emphasize certain moments, and the scene we are creating today is one of those key shots.
Meaningful results. Ultimately, I just wound up feeling like I was nagging my agents to make more videos, like a parent telling my kids to eat their vegetables. And that's where the idea for Full Steam was born.
So for this scene, let's call it character animation. The idea is that an employer is standing beside a table where his employees are working hard, and the employer is continuously nagging them to work faster. To show this scene, we need a table with two employees working on laptop or computer and one man standing beside them, telling them to hurry up. So we need an asset that includes three characters, one standing and two sitting at a table. From a rigging perspective, I am focusing on the hands of these characters and the simple left 12 body movement. We don't need to rig the legs, we only need hand rigging and body rigging. The key learning here is never rig the whole character, only rig the parts that need to move. This saves a lot of time. Earlier, I used to rig everything, arms, legs, head, without knowing why, and later realized I wasted a lot of time rigging parts that didn't even move. That's when I learned to rig only what's required for the scene. Now let's go back to finding characters. On Freepik, searching characters gives you many options. So how do you decide which character works? Well, it depends on your theme. So if your project has some realistic look, you can use characters like these. And if your animation is flat or more 2D, use flat style characters. So I'm still scrolling and not finding the right asset. And if you find yourself stuck in there too, I'll tell you a neat trick. So just go to advanced search and type Freepik here. So now when you search like this, Freepik shows you assets from their own library. Their internal team creates cleaner, well separated resources, unlike content creator files, which are often merged and harder to break apart. So let's scroll down and try to find an asset that's worked for our scene. So I think this one matches our sketch. But the problem here is that our narrator is a male. So we need a male character over here. The girl and the boy looks fine, but the standing character must be replaced. So to find similar style artwork, you can just scroll down and you will see multiple similar style artworks. And I think here's a male character that fits well. So basically we will combine these two illustrations, the man from one and the scene from the other. Now let's go ahead and download them and let's open them in Illustrator. So first we need to remove everything except the parts we need. So basically this is a Freepik's own library asset. The layering here is perfect. As you can see, I can move each and every component of this artwork without going into groupings. So we take the man from the first file, and from the second file, we need to remove unnecessary elements from this artwork. And once it's clean, we will take the man and copy paste over here. Next, it's time to modify our main character. We need to remove the laptop, we need to straighten the legs, and we need to adjust the hand posture. So basically for the hand posture, we can just use hands from the other illustration, and we need to recolor them to match the skin tone and reposition them. So if you go back to the other illustration, you can see that the standing pose of this character is far more better than our own character. So basically we can take things from this character and use them for our main character. For the arm, we can just copy and paste, and we need to adjust it a little bit. And for path adjustment, if you're seeing so many points, then you can just right click and select simplify the path, and you can reduce the points. So it will be easier for you to edit the paths. Now let's adjust it to match the body. I think this looks good. So now it's time to fix the legs, and for the legs it's very simple. We just need to copy them from this character and paste them over here. And we also need to change the color, and done. Now our main character design is ready. We don't need further modifications. So it's time to group and name our layers. So we will separate the eyes and eyebrows because we are going to create a basic eye blinking animation. And we can also separate the mouth. And we will keep the left hand separate for rotation, but the body, head and right hand stay in one group. The torso and foot will be one group as well. So let's do the same for the other two characters. We can separate both arms for animation. And after this, we can rename everything properly. So let's name our main character James, and he's our employer. So his layer will be James eyes and brows, James left arm, James body, and James torso. And the other two characters, Mike and Lily, will each have 3 layers: left arm, right arm, and body. Simple. Okay. Now it's time to animate. So let's go to After Effects. Now import the Illustrator file as a composition and retain layer size. So let's start with the eye animation. First, convert the vector layer into shapes, and we can scale it up so it's easier to see what we are doing. Now there are two ways to animate ice blink. First is using scale properties, which I don't recommend, and the second is using path animation, the better method. So basically for path animation, we will use a rounded rectangle as a reference. So basically our eye will look like this when it's open, and when it's closed, it's look like a rounded rectangle. So according to the animation principle, when a shape squashes or stretches, its overall size also adjusts. So we will adjust the width of the squashing eye based on its height. Then we will add some easy ease and it's ready. Then animate the eyebrows by adjusting path points. We will select the layer, press G to show path points, and we can flip handles by holding Alt and dragging the points. And we will make sure that the movement feels natural. Now let's duplicate this eye group for the second eye. Now it's time to rename all layers properly. Right eye, left brow, right brow, etc. And then we will ease ease. To quickly ease keyframes, I use Animation Composer's keyframe wingman, stretching the handles for smooth easing. So to emphasize the blinks, we will duplicate the last keyframe and adjust the timing so the animation feels natural and not too fast. So now we will offset the eyebrows slightly for realism, and after finishing, let's scale down the layer and place it back on the head. Now it's time to rig the character in the simplest way, using puppet pins and Duik bezel controller pins. So the puppet pin tool in After Effects lets you add points on a character so you can bend, stretch and animate it naturally. It helps you create smooth controlled movements without full rigging. For example, if we put 2 pins on James' hand, we can move it easily without rigging the full arm. So puppet pins have their own limitation. To understand the puppet pins, try to play it around and experiment with it, and doing that will help you understand puppet pins in a better way. Place pins on different parts and see how the character bends. Once you understand the mechanics, you'll have the full control over the rig. So let's continue and add pins to the body. After creating puppet pins, it's time to assign controllers. So that means that we assign nulls to each pin so we can parent them together. And this is a very important part of rigging. Then select the puppet pins. Click on the chain icon on Duik bezel and then select the pins button in Duik Angela. It will reload and done. So all puppet pins on the body layer will be parented to the body controller. Let's rename our pins: head pin, body pin, torso pin, shoulder pin, hand pin, etc. Even hand controller will be parented to the nearest puppet pin on the body. So everything moves together. Parenting needs to be done very carefully, so practice it to understand it well. After parenting, let's test the rig, and I think it's moving smoothly. So torso and body movement can be kept separate or parented depending on the need. Now let's hide all the unwanted controllers. Once rigged, it's time to animate. Lean forward, move the torso, move the hand, adding easing and rotation overlap. Refine the hand movement, adjust timing, offset keyframes for realism, and make sure the staging is natural. Body moves first, then torso, then hand. Clean the animation using the graph editor. Time the gesture properly, and our James animation is ready. Remember, character animation is time consuming, so keep things simple. And that's why pre planning is very important. So, this means that the sketching part, which we did at the start of the video, was essential and very important. Now, let's animate the other two characters, Mike and Lily, using the same method. So, to summarize it, we will put the puppet pins and then convert those pins into controllers through Duik bezel, and then we will parent them with each other, and then we will add keyframes to add animation, a little bit body movement. So we will keep some speed differences in both characters to show personality. For example, Mike is fast and chaotic, while Lily will stay calm and organized. So next we are going to add the missing computers. So now our character animation is ready, but we are not done here. We are missing something, and that is called staging. So basically, after animation, it's very important to reanimate your scene for proper impact. So let's design the background using solids. I'll use a white one and a blue one. So we will apply a gradient on the blue solid and adjust colors. And we will also add a grid. Now we need to remove this line and create a platform. So I think this line was a part of the original Illustrator file, and I think we need to remove it and create a platform here. So let's go to the static object layers and convert that to shapes. Find the line and delete it. We also need to extend the lamp wires and reposition them. Now we will create a null object for camera control. So we will first zoom into James while he nags. Then we will zoom out to reveal the employees, easing the keyframe for smooth movement. Now we will adjust the keyframe spacing so the motion looks natural. And I think we forgot to loop the eye animation. So let's go back and loop the eye animation for all characters, and done. Finally, the full scene is ready and we can render it. So this is how we create the animation. Now it's your turn. Try it yourself. Your goal is to animate and include a character in your next project. I have provided the project files in the description, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.